was born in Johannesburg. She was the first of the great singers from her country to bring South African music to the world. They call her Mama Africa, the queen of South African music, Miriam Makeba.
My name happens to be Zenzi Makeba Kaqashu Ngudlaw Nguvama Iketile Nengawa Antana balomzi xa ufuna ubadyabulisa ubathengela ibhotile yotywala sithi xa sawugqiba sithathe izitya sizikhabe sivuke ngomso sizichole ezo zingakhoyo zingabikho njalo singamalawu singamanenekazi singamaqashu singamanqamlanqithi.
Kill the savage lion before the lion kills you.
My mother was caught brewing this African beer, which we call umqombothi, and she was arrested. I was 18 days old. She did the 6 months in jail with the baby. Me.
I've always liked music since I was very young, and in 1952 I joined a group. They were not professional, but singing with them around the country. I was heard by another group, and they were already professional performers, and they asked me to join them, and I sang with them for 3 years.
One thing with Miriam, she had the kind of rendering some of the songs that she did with the most perfect feeling. If it was going to be a little jazzy kind of thing, she used to be there. If it was going to be a sentimental song, she was ready.
Miriam came on and sang with the Cuban brothers, and the 13 of us were up in the balcony, and we were just completely mesmerized, completely mesmerized. That was the first time I saw Miriam in 1953, and we were all madly in love with her, you know. She had such an impact on us, we were just blown away. We were always saying, hey, there's Miriam Makeba, you know, and her and the Skylarks were just like the meanest dressers. I mean, they were the best dressed women in the country. And they wore like very high heels, and they just like, nobody looked like them. Even Marilyn Monroe couldn't get anywhere near there.
The Skylarks was more for recording. It was a Gallo Records baby. It was during the era of the girl groups, you know, all those girl groups from America. Because during that time, our music was very much influenced by the American music industry. Songs that were a hit in America, they would give us those songs to sing them in Zulu or in Sotho. And she was very professional. When it came to rehearsals or performances or dressing up, she would say to you, you look good on stage and off stage. You respect yourself on stage and off stage so that the people can respect you.
Miriam never studied music. It was just natural talent. But I think because she, before she left the country, she had been surrounded by all these great musicians, South African jazz giants, Gwangwa, Hugh, Kippy, Makeba,
I love this place. And besides being the political mecca of South Africa, I mean, Mandela is here, was here. Here was Mutuping of the PAC, the president of the PAC. Ntate Sisulu was up there. Ntate Tutu is down there. Jesus, most of the politicians come from this Orlando West. This was like the mecca. This was blacks only. Used to pack this place up. You know, where all the groups would perform. The Manhattan Brothers, Emily Kwenane, Miriam Makeba, Dolly Ratebe, the Skylarks, of course. Here could do zindot, sele yo twendlini. Here could do zamama lendo tumfazu seslumini. Here could do him hisweli mali him aisebenzi lendo tumfazu seslumini. Ingana zikwekaya ziyogwetheza inkuni. Here could do zamama lendo tumfazu seslumini. Aibo!
There used to be a very beautiful nightclub in Elof Street in Johannesburg. I mean, exclusive. That was for the bourgeois, you know, the real McCoys of this town. Money people, you know, the hot and lot people. So we would go in and perform to these people through our kitchen doors with your little nice glitteries, and you'd go through this kitchen and onto the stage, finish your singing through the same way. Out you'd go back to the township, or then we used to have friends, the white friends who used to invite us to their homes. You'd go into the car, then you squat down so that the policeman doesn't see the black woman in this car. Then when you get to the house, they cover you up, you enter the house, the curtains are drawn, the music is played very low, and the party goes on, you know. And if somebody reported to the police and said, think there are some black girls in there, you quickly jump into somewhere and put on the uniform, you know, the apron and things like that. Then the people would say, oh, you mean she? Oh yeah, she's here. She's our servant, you know. She works here, and so that used to be the kind of life that.
I did a show called African Jazz and Variety. And while doing this, we were performing at the Johannesburg City Hall, which was the first time that we were allowed to perform in the city and to white audiences as black Africans. While we were there, an American came to South Africa. His name was Lionel Rogerson from New York. He came there to make a film. He wanted to make a music travelogue. He would film certain things that showed the life of the African in South Africa living under apartheid, which is segregation. And he smuggled those films out, and he asked me to sing in this film. I sang 2 songs.
She left in early 1959 to go to the Venice Film Festival. The government didn't know, but as soon as that film won, Miriam was immediately banned. But her mother used to bring Sibongile to Doke House to prepare for Sibongile to go and join Miriam, who was already in New York by then and had big success.
This is Mufulo village in Soweto. And this is the house where Miriam lived with her family. There was no wall. It was a 4-roomed house like that one. It was an ordinary 4-roomed house. You know, Miriam's mom, she taught us some of the songs that we recorded with the Skylarks, especially those songs like that she sang when they were doing their traditional dancing, because she was a traditional healer. Ngakula babe ngalala phansi, ngakula ngalala phansi. We were taught by Miriam's mom, you know, some of those songs. So she was a singer. I think Miriam got it from her. I remember when Miriam left, and then she sent for Bongi. We took her away to the airport, and Mama Christina was very sad. She was really affected by Bongi's. I mean, she was affected by Miriam's, and especially when she learned that Miriam was never going to be allowed back into this country.
Goodbye, mother. Goodbye, father. And to you, my little baby, goodbye until we meet again. Farewell to friends, I am leaving. May the good Lord be with you all.
Miriam Makeba, of course I remember. She played here December 1959. And, le telefono. Can I answer the phone? Village Vanguard. For when? Next Sunday at 9 o'clock, okay. May I have your last name? Okay, thank you. December 59, she was here for a couple of weeks, and then she came back in January 1960. Yes, she was here. For the first time, Miriam Makeba came to New York City, as far as I know. A man made the movie, Lionel Rogerson, called Come Back Africa, which played in the neighborhood. And it was a beautiful movie, we all saw it. But in order for her to come to this country, she had to have a job and to work. And Lionel Rogerson came to my husband, Max Gordon, who had the Vanguard, who said, would you like to give the room to Miriam Makeba so she could perform? And my husband loved the movie. He said, oh, yes, absolutely. Miriam was a phenomena, you know, it's a Xhosa, and we're all doing clicking all night. Click away. And then a gentleman came down, among others, to hear her, named Harry Belafonte. And he fell in love with her, too. Well, Harry was much more powerful than we were, and so he whisked her away from Lionel Rogerson and my husband, Max Gordon. Took her away. If I were Miriam, I would have gone with Harry. I mean, he had a whole tour arranged for her. He promoted her. It's his culture as well. He made a big thing out of that. Oh, pardonnez-moi.
Miriam became very successful, and I brought her out and introduced her to the West. It was through me and through Come Back Africa that she got her start, met Belafonte, became a great star in New York. Overnight, just incredible how fast, through Belafonte, mainly.
We have used constantly our platform in order to project new people. We have used our power. We have used our craft in order to set platforms for other artists to be able to project themselves, other black artists. So that despite the inequities, despite the contradictions within this society, it has not deterred us from a black consciousness. We have not left the community. I am physically removed from the community. I am spiritually committed to the community. As long as one black brother or sister anywhere in the world is in bondage, there is no freedom for me. I may have a certain material freedom, but spiritually, I am in the same darkness that all others will find themselves.
When I came to New York, Bongi had just come a few months before me. And I was going to Manhattan School of Music, so I was living with Bongi because Miriam was on the road all the time. I think to a certain extent, that's why our marriage didn't work, because we're more like brother and sister, you know. We're more like siblings.
For her to meet Harry Belafonte, Sidney Poitier, Marlon Brando, when she was here, it's amazing. I mean, it's something that everybody will be dreaming of meeting and doing. So it is just, I mean, it's everything was there for her. And she has such a pride in her own culture that even if she sings any jazz tune, you always hear South Africa in there.
In the last 3 years, I have made 2 trips around the world. And on both occasions, I was privileged to perform in most of the major capitals. While in these countries, I talked with and performed with many, many other artists. Some of them were wonderful, such as the artist you're about to see now. A young lady from South Africa, Miss Miriam Makeba.
When I saw his face, the berryman cried, won't you try this? We looked, we bought, we stole a kiss. The berries are gone and the spring has passed, but I know my love will always last. Though rain has come with sudden haste, love's got a fresh strawberry taste. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
She did a few records in America and actually asked if there was a possibility for her to be able to feature us with herself in America. But it seemed as if it was not going to be possible because Harry Belafonte and people like that were on the scene. And I was quite disappointed that even my dear Miriam had to allow that. Because I would have thought, she would have insisted that, no, look, these are the people I want to be, to back me. But it was not possible.
People that she surrounded herself with, such as Kwame Ture, also known as Stokely Carmichael, Mr. Harry Belafonte as well. They always gave her advice, and they always said, never forget where you came from. You know, that was always something she always had engraved in her mind, to always remember where she was from.
You know, my brother, there's no faster way you can send a message than a song. So Miriam spoke and Miriam sang about what was happening in this part of the world. And really, in her little way, as the people think it was little, it was mighty. Because the people that heard her say these things began to want to know what is really happening around South Africa.
Kauleza is a South African song. It comes from the townships, locations, reservations, whichever, near the cities of South Africa, where all the black South Africans live. The children shout from the streets as they see police cars coming to raid their homes for one thing or another. They say, Kauleza mama, which simply means, hurry mama, please, please don't let them catch you. Kauleza mama, kauleza mama, kauleza mama, kauleza mama, kauleza mama, sheshi sabo.
There's one statement she always phrased. She always said, I do not sing politics, I merely sing the truth.
In a country where it is portrayed a country of freedom, the biggest country in the world. She couldn't leave South Africa asking for freedom of her people and come to America and see the African American with no freedom. She was the first African artist ever that spoke at the United Nations and asked for the boycott of South Africa. I mean, it takes guts to do that in the 60s.
The story of the shootings at Sharpeville is well known throughout the world. Indeed, all men and women of goodwill all over the world raised their voices in anger on that occasion, but all these protests just fell on deaf ears. Since Sharpeville, many terrible things have occurred in my country. Our political parties were declared illegal, and the leaders were forced to go underground. Some 5,000 people have in recent months been put behind prison bars. Among those who have been jailed and detained or restricted are many of our prominent leaders, which include Nelson Mandela, Mrs. Lillian Ngoyi, and only last week, Mr. Walter Sisulu. Indeed, Mr. Chairman and distinguished members, My country has been turned into a huge prison. This, therefore, does not leave us with any option but to ask the United Nations to take positive action against the South African government, calling for a complete boycott on South Africa and especially the sending of arms by outside powers to South Africa. Thank you.
She was playing for humanity. She wasn't dividing, she was unifying. She was known as the flame of unity and cultural diversity.
She read that speech, which really damned the South African government even further. At that time, I think she felt much stronger about it because she couldn't come back to come and bury her mother, who had died shortly after she left.
My records, for instance, have been banned since 1962 in South Africa. They don't sell them anymore. People who have them just have to play them privately and hope that nobody that shouldn't hear them hears them.
So then she was banned for the second time.
Like home sweet home? Like home sweet home.
Well, I got a call from Hugh Masekela one early morning. I think it was a Saturday morning early. And I had just gotten home from the after-hours joint. Anyway, I got there. That was that very same day, Saturday, I went for the audition. And Savuka happened to be one of the people auditioning. And then Savuka picks up the accordion. And he starts to play some, and I have never liked the accordion.
I had no reason to, same here.
Until I heard this guy play. I said, oh, wow. I said, this is not
just an accordion.
It's no circus. This is an orchestra. I'm enjoying it, you know.
I made the audition on Monday. And I guess they called me back either the next day or something very relative to that. Within a 2-week period, I had a passport.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe this?
Mm-hmm. I know that.
And I was on my way to somewhere. The next real big moment was the first time we went to Africa. You landed on the tarmac, and when the door opened, and all this fresh smell of the earth
Africa
came up at me.
Yeah, I remember that feeling.
That was such a dynamic thing. You know, I mean, if, you know, I just can't describe. I mean, we did quite a bit of this, you know, caravan. One period we got stuck in the mud. You know, we were going through this field. For whatever reason, we were going through a field rather than just being on a road. But then Africa is Africa, so the point is to get from here to there. So we get stuck in the mud, but she's trying to help. She's trying to tell them how to do this.
Bye. everybody starts to move as soon as Pata Pata starts to play. Every Fridays and Saturday nights, it's Pata Pata time. Woo! The music keeps going all night long till the morning sun begins to shine. Here's
Vous n'aimez pas? C'est une chanson qui n'a aucun sens. Parce que ça parle de danse, une danse qui s'appelle le pata-pata chez nous. Mais malheureusement, ou heureusement, je ne sais pas. Malheureusement pour moi, c'est pas une chanson which has a deep meaning. I would have preferred another song to be popular than Pata Pata. But then people choose what they want, so.
In a lot of the places, especially in Africa that we went to, she was treated like royalty.
Well, that's true. That's true. And actually, she really was.
You know, the streets were lined with people for miles. And periodically, we had to stop so she could greet people, and they also had presents for her.
She went to Tanzania, and the president of Tanzania at that time, Julius Nyerere, was a believer in African people regaining the language and teaching the language in school with other languages. And the fact that Miriam always sang in so many different African languages pleases Mr. Nyerere. She heard Malaika, and she learned it, and she recorded it.
Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Malaika, nakupenda malaika. Ningekuoa maliwe, ningekuoa ndugu. Nashindana malisi nawe, ningekuoa malaika. Nashindana malisi nawe, ningekuoa malaika. Thank you, sir. Merci beaucoup.
She went to all the camps, you know, in Morogoro and in Zambia and in Tanzania. She'd find students all over the world, and like whatever she'd earned in that country, she just like make sure they were okay. All her life, she did that.
I ask you and all the leaders of the world, would you act differently? Would you keep silent and do nothing if you were in our place? Would you not resist if you were allowed no rights in your own country because the color of your skin is different to that of the rulers? And if you were punished for even asking for equality? I appeal to you, and through you to all the countries of the world, to do everything you can to stop the coming tragedy.
She was the glue between all the presidents. Everybody just like idolized her. Sekou Toure of Guinea, Jomo Kenyatta of Kenya, Julius Nyerere of Tanzania, Lumumba had died, like just being crazy about him. Houphouët Boigny, you know, of Ivory Coast, Leopold Senghor of Senegal. These were all people who like was just so close to it. I've never known anybody in history or at any other time who had such close ties with every African president.
When you see an individual white boy, you're not afraid of that individual white boy. What you are afraid of is the power that he represents, because behind him stands the local police force, the state militia, the army, the navy, the air force. When you see an African, there is no power behind him. There is no one speaking for his interest. There is no one to protect him.
Stokely Carmichael was a very brilliant student from New York. His family came from the Caribbean. He went to Howard University, which is a prestigious black university in Washington, D.C. He went there in 1960, a year in which a tremendous political focus was on Africa, on the independence of African countries. After King's assassination and Malcolm's assassination, Stokely became sort of the firebrand black leader. At some point in Guinea, in a visit to Guinea, maybe a subsequent visit, I'm not sure, Miriam and Stokely met when Miriam was there as a guest of Sékou Touré, the president.
We want black power! 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 We want black power!
Stokely is extraordinarily charming, very, very articulate, had a wonderful, amazing smile, and lots of humor, and he's very incisive. Many people didn't agree with him, but I think it would be hard to find many people who don't like him.
The Caribbean is full of black people, and our mother continent, Africa, there is to be found millions and millions and millions and millions of black people. Black power means all of these millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of black people coming together to form black power. The entire mass media of America, came against SNCC and against black power. They did every possible thing to destroy the concept and were incapable of doing it. We're not going to win this struggle today. We're not going to win it tomorrow. This is a struggle. This is a long struggle. We're fighting a struggle that has been taking place for 500 years, and even way beyond that. We're just a small part of that struggle. We have to find what our mission is, what the mission of this generation is, and do that, and do it perfect, properly, correctly, thoroughly, and completely. There is nothing we cannot do. All we got to do, as the Honorable Marcus Garvey said, is get up and do it. We're a mighty race. Up now, you mighty race.
Before we sing this next song, I would like to introduce my accompanists. On bass, we have also the man who writes most of my English songs. He comes from the United States, Mr. Bill Salter. On guitar and accordion, we have from Brazil, Sivuca. On second guitar, we have from the Republic of Guinea,
in Sigiri. Kemoko Kuyate. Ah, tata. Ah, hey, hey. Ah, tata. Last but not least, the man who plays just about everything on conga drums, shakers, bells, and what have you. Also from somewhere on this continent, via Puerto Rico, Leopoldo Simba.
The day after they're married, which is your honeymoon. This is the time to be celebrating. The day after, she discovered that all her concert dates in the United States had been canceled.
I remember being in a car with Stokely, and he pulled up to the FBI. He said, "Well, I'm leaving now. I'll be back in such and such a time." But you know, they were always right there. Where they lived.
We have problems everywhere. Sometimes people send us threatening letters, and some send very vulgar letters and tell us, "Nigga, get out of here and go." So there's nowhere to run. We just have to stay wherever we are and fight to liberate ourselves.
Some people here say that you lost something of your popularity back in the United States. They don't buy your records so much as before. What do you say to that?
Oh, that's not true.
That's not true.
No, I wouldn't say I've lost my popularity. There is a boycott on my records on the part of radio stations, but I don't think I'll ever lose my popularity with the people.
Why this boycott?
I don't know. They all give different reasons.
Is that because of your marriage to Stokely Carmichael?
Mostly, yes.
And you, Mr. Carmichael, what are you going to do here in Sweden?
I'm just going to be with my wife.
Other plans, political activity or such?
No, I'm just going to look and listen.
The greatest paradox of Miriam's life for me is that she was very close to Golda Meir, who was crazy about it until 1967, when she was married to Stokely, and he said something about Israel. And the next day, you couldn't find her records in the stores. And she was just iced in the States. And I think, like, that very week, she just, Sekou just said, "Hey, you have a home in Guinea." And that's when she went to Guinea.
Because Stokely was so outspoken, a lot of people at the time canceled my shows, saying they can't feed the hand that bites them. So I left and went to Guinea with Stokely, and we were married for 10 years.
It was during the Pan-African movement, and the one common goal was what they had together during that era. She felt she was part of that, and she was a soldier in any aspect in terms of transferring the message of unity, Africa, and just many other aspects of the continent. She was always there. And if it meant that she had to sing, if she had to travel, go to the United Nations, whatever it was, Mama Africa was always disponible to the government.
Miriam Makeba était donc au centre du combat du peuple de Guinée et des autres peuples d'Afrique qui luttaient pour l'indépendance ou le départ de la tutelle étrangère. Voilà donc une rencontre politique, idéologique, qui a fini par se muer à une profonde amitié entre Sékou Touré et Miriam Makeba, et d'autre part, l'acceptation par le peuple de Guinée de Miriam Makeba comme une de leurs héroïnes nationales.
Our next artist is one of the most magnificent talents of our time, and I take great pleasure in introducing to you Sister Miriam Makeba Carmichael. Really great. Probably everybody wants to know how Stokely is.
He's well, he's alive and well in Conakry.
Do you see any difference in, say, the way that this government, let's say dealing with the government, the way that this government approaches you as a black African coming here and the way that the South African government is approaching black entertainers? Do you see any similarities, any differences? You know
I always say the only difference between South Africa and America is very slight. In that South Africa admits that they are what they are. So in a way, you know who to deal with. So you don't have to be guessing.
You have a couple of children.
I have one child. She's 20 and she has 2 children. Her name is Bongi. She writes some of my songs. She writes some of my songs. She has a little boy whom she named Lumumba, and she wrote a song about him. And now she has a little girl whom she's named after me. She called the little girl Zanzi.
Oh, wow.
That's my Xhosa name.
You know, it's been almost 24 years I've not been here. Conakry will always remain as a home to myself and my sisters, Auntie. Our mother was buried here, and my brother was buried here, and the late, great Kwame Ture, also known as Stokely Carmichael. Just the hospitality of the people. As I said, I would cherish that for the rest of my life. It wasn't about the outlook of what the place looked like, not the superficial look and all of that. It was basically about true human relation, brotherhood, sisterhood, etc. When we used to run around barefoot, you know, somehow I feel that that energy went into our feet, you know, and it always had us coming back here. We just kept coming back. And to my grandmother as well, being so far away from home over 32 years, there was no other place that she could call home but this place.
Ce soir, ça va disjoncter. Toujours 3 Coupes du Monde avec Kemo Kouyaté et Miriam Makeba. Voici, face à face, Kemo Kouyaté et Papa Kouyaté ce soir.
Souvent, quand je chante cette chanson, après le spectacle, il y a des gens qui me demandent « Mais comment vous faites cette bruit-là » Souvent, je me fâche parce que vraiment, ce n'est pas un bruit, ça, c'est ma langue. Mais je comprends qu'il ne comprend pas. Et je fais tout pour expliquer que dans ma langue, pour la lettre « que », on dit « moi ». La lettre X, on dit « mouais ». La lettre C, on dit « oui ». Je, que, on dit « que ». Les colonisateurs de chez nous, en Afrique du Sud, appellent cette chanson « click song » parce qu'eux, ils ne savent pas dire « utonotwane ».
When the late, great Ahmed Sékou Touré asked Mama Miriam Makeba, out of Guinea, what region would you like to have a house? Where do you feel mostly at home? She mentioned Dalaba.
mama. Kosiko kabioro ya sasola kinetwi birimbara vindi dokerena.
Ay gardien makko on kadi ɓe maayi ñande wotere gardien makko wonnoɗo sarcere on kadi maayi.
Ta maman encore est décédée?
Elle est décédée aussi, oui, Bongi.
Je la connais.
En 85, oui. These were the first people who had welcomed Mama with hospitality. They used to be at the house, you know, this was back in the 70s. There is a particular site that you see of the landscape, which looks extremely similar to South Africa. We would always go round this mountain, and she would always say, I miss home so much. This reminds me so much of home. It's the master room. There's a picture of my mother, Simone, who passed on March 17th, 1985, very young. She was only 35 years old. Yeah, this is where the porch was, and it's still here. This is where the musicians would rehearse. Mazi would sing.
Lady Guinea, Bella Guinea, Maube Guinea, Robe Guinea, Colle Guinea, Artiri Bibe Mundo, OPDG Artirindi Mungu. Je ne peux plus continuer parce que Papa Kouyaté n'est pas là.
La Guinée avait beaucoup d'étudiants sud-africains qui étudiaient ici, des docteurs et tout ça. Et tout le monde, vous rentrez chez Miriam, il n'y a rien que des étudiants. Et tout ce qu'elle gagnait dans le spectacle, elle payait les études des étudiants, elle donnait à manger, elle payait les études.
My grandmother telling me that there's nothing special about me. I just love what I do, and I do what I do. I do it for a bigger cause, for a bigger purpose. Mazi loved happiness. She used to have parties, just everybody. She loved to get-togethers. You could never come to my grandmother's house and there's not food. That she taught me that too. She said, Zanzi, when you cook, you know, even if you're broke, you must always have food. And when you have food, even if it's just a little piece of food or one piece of bread, when people come to visit you, you must always have a piece for somebody.
Et puis elle aimait cuisiner, attention, hein, même en Afrique du Sud. Quand vous rentrez chez elle, elle est tout le temps dans la cuisine. Elle peut payer, les frigos sont tout le temps pleins, elle aime préparer. Elle n'était pas là, bon, la grande star, non.
Elle représente le peuple noir en Amérique, le peuple noir aux îles de Caraïbes, le peuple noir en Amérique du Sud, le peuple noir en Afrique, surtout l'Afrique du Sud, notre pays, et Namibia, qui ne sont pas libres d'abord. Alors pour moi, elle n'est pas seulement une chanteuse internationale. Elle n'est pas seulement ma mère à moi-même, mais elle est la mère de l'Afrique.
This is a song that was written by my little girl. It was in Mozambique that I first heard the words in Portuguese, a luta continua. When I came back, I told Bongi all what I saw. I said, write me a song. She wrote the song. We have the habit of dedicating it to the people of Mozambique and to their vanguard party, Frelimo, and to the beloved Samora Machel. Maputo, Maputo, home of the brave, our nation will soon be as one. Frelimo, Frelimo, Samora Machel, Samora Machel.
She wrote some of Miriam's biggest songs, you know, Quedet, Mozambique, Aluta Continua, West Wind.
We were supposed to be 4. My 2 other brothers passed away, so they are buried in Guinea.
Elle m'a fait un enfant. L'enfant, s'amusant, a pris des comprimés. Avant d'être à l'hôpital, l'enfant est décédé.
Nobody knows what he put in his mouth, what happened to him. And she had to help that boy running around to ask for help, and the boy was already dead. And she is the one that have to tell her daughter, your son died.
Ça a eu un traumatisme psychiste sur elle. Donc, voilà. Bongi n'a plus été Bongi d'elle-même.
I mean, when you're a grandmother, you're not supposed to bury your grandson. You're not even supposed to bury your own child when you're a mother.
Bongi est morte dans mes mains. Elle avait fait une fausse couche. On l'a hospitalisée à Ignazdine. Et elle est morte là.
The day she passed away, when I heard she passed away, I cried like a little baby. But she was just amazing, an amazing talent, a talent that was never got to be known.
Everything was sudden. I mean, it took a long time for them to acknowledge to us that she had passed because we were quite young. We were kids, and I think they didn't want to let us know during our trip coming out here that she had passed.
I remember suppressing my feelings. I remember getting to America to go see my dad because my dad called for us when my mom passed away. I remember only a year later, like 9 months later, finally crying because my mom passed away. My dad came and found me crying in a closet.
It was hard. It was hard for any mother. It was one of the greatest tragedies, I think, of her life. And I think she never was really the same after that. She was stunned.
We were quite close. We had nobody else out here. She had me, I had her.
3 flights up in the rear to where my childhood days were spent. It wasn't much like paradise, but amid the dirt.
She was the grandmother that came in New York when I was a little kid, and I'd pack my bags to want to leave and go off with her, and she'd spoil me as a grandmother. you know. But at the same time, she realized my mother was no longer there, and she was taking kind of like a role, a double kind of role. Music is a healing. Yeah, she talked to me about that. As you know, my great-grandmother, her mother was a sangoma. My grandmother was also a sangoma. My mother was a sangoma. I have the same thing. That's what I've been told by the family, by her. Sangoma is ingoma is what? It's a song.
You know, they sometimes say you don't have to be, you become a healer and do something else but healing people. So Miriam was a healer through her music, not through herbs like her mother was. Her mother did it with herbs, and she did it with her music.
Por amor a deixar tanto changuema, Senhor, já nem sei se o amor não aguenta bastante pra sofrer. Vou fazer uma oração, vou cantar para ver se vai valer. Laia, ladaia, sapatão na minha Maria. Laia, ladaia, sapatão na minha Maria. Oh, meu santo defensor, traga o meu amor. Laia, ladaia, sapatão na minha Maria. Sapata na Ave Maria. Se é fraca a oração, 1000 vezes cantarei. Laia, ladaia, sapata na Ave Maria. 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 Laia, ladaia, sapata na Ave Maria.
Vendredi dernier ont lieu à Conakry, capitale de la Guinée, les funérailles de Sékou Touré. L'intérim gouvernemental est assuré par le Premier ministre Lansana Béavogui, un intérim de courte durée. Ce matin, un comité militaire de redressement, autrement dit l'armée, a pris le pouvoir. La Constitution suspendue, les aéroports et les frontières fermées, les liaisons téléphoniques coupées et un couvre-feu a été instauré.
Quand il y a eu la Deuxième République, en 84, les militaires pensaient qu'il y avait des opposants donc qui étaient cachés chez elle. Ils sont venus, mais c'était des copains à moi. Ils ont fait semblant de chercher, mais ils ne cherchaient pas en fait. Mais elle a eu peur. Et quand elle est allée à l'aéroport, on a dit « Madame, vous ne pouvez pas partir ». Elle a eu peur. Elle avait acheté une maison en Belgique. On allait tout le temps en Belgique. Elle était plus fréquente en Europe qu'ici.
So when my record company posted me to Brussels to go and work there, I suddenly heard that she was in town. I was so happy that, you know, and she came to the studios to see us work. And I had some of my colleagues from South Africa. And every day without fail, she'd bring us food to the studio. Or she would invite us to her place.
She's a person that went through a lot of pain. But geez, when she takes that microphone and she's on stage, man, the pain is gone. The pain is gone, and all she does is to just give to people. And that is the thing that, for me, is the essence of Miriam Makeba.
In 1959, she began a world tour, and when she attempted to return home, 1 year later, she was refused readmittance. She's been a political exile now for 27 years. Miriam Makeba.
Tightening the curfew, charging people with war. running. I got away, but all the others are in the jail without any publicity. Just a little atrocity deep in the city. Soweto blues, Soweto blues, Soweto blues, Soweto blues. They are killing all the children without any publicity. Oh, they are finishing the nation while calling it black on black. Ah, yeah, la mama, Soweto blues. Yeah, la mama, Soweto
I wish to live in my country as a human being, free of all the ugliness that we have gone through.
I remember coming back home. She and Hugh took me to the airport. And the first thing she said to me, do I ever think she's ever going to come home? It was one of those most poignant moments and very painful. I remember that vividly. There we were at the airport. She was staying behind. I was going back home, and Hugh Masekela was going to New York. I stood there alone. I was almost in tears because I knew that if they had wished to, they would have, if they could, we could all fly back home. And I said, Mazi, soon.
I like that song that you sang that goes on, promise. Here's a promise I'm making to you. It's a promise, I promise to keep this day. Be my lover, be my darling. What else? How does it go?
Love should never, ever be far away.
Come and give me your love
that you're hiding. Come and give me your love that you're hiding. I will keep it burning forever. The only thing that makes me to be able to go on living with this pain that I feel from being away from my home is the fact that I know I will go home someday soon. I will never leave you ever. We should always be together till the end.
There have been promises, and we hope they'll be realized. I often say that I don't know why I was banned, and I don't see why I should be told what to do after all these years. And as our leader, Nelson Mandela, said, he will not be released from his prison while his people are still in prison.
Oh, yeah.
And then we had this noise, and the screaming, the cars hooting, people ululating, and then we said, oh my God, another June 76. And then we ran to the security guy to make sure that the doors were locked, you know. And then we said, what is it? Do you know what is happening outside? He said, no, Mandela is being released today.
I've always wanted to come home. Of course, I couldn't, but when President Mandela was released, you know, the whole world was waiting in front of their televisions, and I was one of them. I was in Brussels when I saw him walk out of there. I can't tell you how I felt. I just went on my knees and I cried and I prayed. He then talked to me and said, you should come home. Much of the family left. My mother and my father died. But I have my brother. He's here. He's my mother's first time. I am my mother's last time. The in-between have also died in my absence. When I came home for the first time, I went straight to my mother's grave and I sat on it and I talked to her. I felt like I was sitting on my mother's lap. And I talked to her and I told her how sorry I was that I was not here to see her to her resting place. And I felt very good. It was the beginning of the healing of that wound.
So the public, the place goes wild. When she went on stage, I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. And that is Miriam. The people in South Africa start discovering Miriam when she came back. The exile have really cut her from her people for so long. But when she starts singing, people know the song. It's just like people haven't seen for a while, and then you see each other, it's like, boom, the bond is still there.
Miriam influenced 99% of the female artists, directly or indirectly. Anybody who says she wasn't influenced by Miriam or doesn't have a song of Miriam's in her repertoire, then that person is not telling the truth. Because even if you don't have, but the audience is going to ask for one. Can you sing Pata Pata? Can you sing the click song?
Makeba's music when I was very, very young. I was probably a little toddler. And the older we got, the more we became connected to the political side of her work. And I think in the beginning of my career, that's what influenced me the most, that her music had a perspective. It wasn't just music, it had a political perspective.
Her music was banned at home, and of course we used to have records. The more they banned it, the more the music was spreading. That was a blessing in disguise, in fact, because as young ones, we've learned so much from her. So just by listening from her albums, the voice, the message, that was so strongly, applied. And I fell in love with the voice. I fell in love with her.
But she had so much faith in the future of Africa that when we came back to South Africa, I don't think that she was given the status that she deserved. And all the other African presidents were gone. They were all gone that she knew. The new ones were like most of them were neo-colonial guardians of Western or Eastern interests, But I think it broke her heart. I think sometimes, somewhere, she realized that the African unity that she had prayed for and sacrificed so much for was not going to happen.
I feel that she's here. The pain doesn't go away, but every day it gets easier. I would think I was angry because I was supposed to be with her in Italy. Immediately when I was supposed to get into the car to go with her, there were people there. She was like, "No, Zenzi, I don't think you should go. I think you should stay." And then she took Kwame. He was 6 months. She spoke to him. And then she gave me back the baby. I gave the baby to one of my little cousins. And she said, "I need to talk to you." She was already in the car. And she said, "Zenzi, I just want to let you know I love you very, very much. And I want you to know that you need to be strong. You need to take care of my home." And when she meant home, it's not material. It's not about material things. Home means, I understand it even now. Home means whatever one is going through for these past years. It means everything that you read. I want you to make sure you take care of her legacy.
Mama died on November 9th. Yesterday we had a gathering with family and few family friends. Today we decided that we will bring all the band members, all those that could come, so that we can make some closure as well.
And then she said to the people, you know what? I want you to remember these guys.
She said, remember their names and their faces.
And their faces.
With or without.
And she said, I want you to applaud them, to keep on applauding them with or without me. It's like she knew
what was going on.
2 days later. 2 days later,
went to Italy.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the way she was smiling at us when she turned around. You know, she does the dance.
Yeah.
And she turns around. And looks at the band. She was smiling like.
Yeah.
In a way, she was telling us, "I love you."
The audience were busy saying, "Miriam, Miriam, Miriam."
And then she said, "We said, Mazi, we're bowing." She said, "No, we're not. My children have to go tonight. We're not bowing." And then she left.
Yeah.
Just a couple of meters, she collapsed.
Yeah.
And that was it.
My grandmother strictly said to me, Zenzi, I do not want to be, buried. I want to be cremated, and not for any religious reason. And you must put me where the two oceans meet. She always said it. She said she wants to find a daughter, my mother, and she wants to also be able to find all the other people all over the world that she met during her years of exile. That's why she was cremated and put into the ocean. She wanted to flow.
Don't define us!
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show. My French is not very good, but I'll try. On vous remercie beaucoup, mesdames et messieurs, et on vous souhaite la bienvenue. Et notre prochaine chanson est une chanson qu'on aime beaucoup. Et dans le monde entier, et il y a les gens qui nous aiment et il y a aussi les gens qui ne nous aiment pas. Il y a le deuxième groupe qui disent toujours « Ah, voilà Miriam Makeba, elle est là encore en train de chanter la politique ». Mais j'ai une bonne réponse. Je le dis toujours que je ne chante pas la politique, je chante que la vérité.